Greetings, 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 greetings. It's me again, Abba. Yeah, so give a little break for this bite size, but I'm gonna do a quick one on conflict and resolution. You know, today they're gonna do that in Jamaica. They're gonna have a big training seminar on conflict and resolution in Jamaica. And of course, I tell you, these life skill courses, they are brought to us courtesy of the vision of Her Imperial Majesty Empress Sheba Deborah Kasumsura III, and they are administered by the Life Skills Academy, whose commanding officer is Executive Crown Minister Lady Marlene Sir. Yeah, Mr. Clement Greatness, Crown Ambassador for Cameroon, is Dean of the Life Skills Academy for the French-speaking region. Yeah, and we say that the purpose of these life skills is to initially improve oneself, you know. They call it self-actualization, so you become the best you can be, manage your affairs strategically, all aspects of your existence, you know. Whether you're in a marriage or a relationship, there are things in certain courses that can help you to navigate those circumstances. If you know someone who's been a victim of drug abuse, or even if yourself done drugs or something like that, crime or something like that, you know, these courses can get you back on your feet, you know. And it's part of the vision of Her Imperial Majesty, who's rolling out the Project 7 Phoenix agenda, which seeks to simultaneously develop all of Africa, and by extension, as some people might know it, Africa is just that continent, but here at the African Kingdoms Federation, it's the whole universe, the whole world. Yeah, so that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that less criminals, less drug abuse, get humanity on the trajectory that it was aimed for, you know. That self-development, that self-actualization, you know, make this world a better place. You understand? So that's the purpose of these life skills. Initially, we say those who see it working in their lives, they take another step and say, okay, I'm gonna share this with somebody, because it's no good on your own. You know, you've done your bit, you've seen that it works for you. Now it's time to share it. And then the African Kingdoms Federation Task Force Academy is it recruits you now to go through more in-depth training, so that then you can be eligible for consideration for a role in the African Kingdoms Federation that is operating anywhere you are in the world. This is how it is. The African Kingdoms Federation diplomatic mission it has a place in every country in the world, basically, and each country is divided up into several regions, 5 as a matter of fact, major regions, and each region is divided into 5 regions. So within the area of the country that you live, you have a chance now as a task force officer to help with building your community, rolling out the Project 7 Phoenix agenda, which is all about reinforcing that idea for one human family. This is where we are at. I'm in the UK, and I've done the sectioning of the country. So I'm here looking for people who want to impact humanity positively to come on board and say, okay, let's do this. As I said, to come on board, you have to go through the life skills, get your accreditation, pass your evaluation, and then, you know, Crown Imperial Office will vet your application, to see if that you fall within what we desire. But once you're speaking the language of the life skills, it's more than likely that, you will be considered for a role. You understand? But it's due process. It's not no airy-fairy thing where you just pop up and say, I want to do this, and then you're set to work. No, there is a unit that, a unity that we want to replicate and duplicate. And it starts from speaking the same language. So if I speak to you about a third party, you'd know exactly what I'm talking about. And so that ends my little bit before we go down into the bite size today, which is on conflict and resolution. So conflicts. To get an understanding what we mean, we have to understand what is conflict, because it's a key word in the whole thing. To identify what is a conflict from a basic perspective is to see that, for instance, you have an ideal setting, so the ideal setting is that I must sit behind the steering wheel at a certain distance from the steering wheel where my arms can manipulate the steering wheel well, with ease and comfort, and my feet can touch the pedals on the floor, ease and comfort, so that I can respond to whatever situation is happening on the road. Anything that doesn't match that ideal, maybe I'm too close to the steering wheel, that's a conflict right there, because then it threatens the survival of my ideal, if you catch what I mean. So it's like across the 8 dynamics of existence, you're due to encounter conflict when things are not in the right proportion. So like your duty is to survive on all 8 levels of the dynamics of your existence. And so anything that threatens your survival on that dynamic is a conflict. So that means you can have conflict with yourself, you can have conflict with your children, your spouse, anyone in your family, conflict with someone in your neighborhood, man as a species, you might have a conflict with just humanity in a certain way, things humanity wants to do, you don't want to do it. Man as a species within all species, you might have a conflict with that, because you might decide that you don't want to see no more lions, so you're gonna try to kill them off. You understand? The physical world, or you're saying, boy, Mars ain't doing us no good as a planet, so let's just destroy it. So you came and seen Mars, but you decide you want to rub it out. So you have a conflict with this physical world. Spiritual world, conflict, we're a spiritual people. Our origin is far. Some people say they have certain skills. People go and solicit their services to go and interact with the spiritual world on their behalf. And many people have said that they've come across malevolent spirits. They have a conflict with the spiritual world. And of course, your creator. When you distance yourself from your creator in your mind, because it can't happen, really, it's an illusion. But when you distance yourself from your creator, the things that you normally do to reverence your creator and acknowledge his presence and his benevolence, you stop doing it. That means you're in conflict with him because you're not communicating. You understand? And so in conflicts, you realize that there's an impact on communication, there's an impact on your emotional tone, because then that reflects your affinity, your level of affinity with someone, or someone's level of affinity with you. So basically, when affinity is low, you can delve into conflict, you know? Yeah. And so what we've realized is that within every conflict, the cause of the conflict is a third party, and that third party could be a thing or someone. You understand? You could have a conflict within yourself, and the third party there is your ignorance. If you understand, you don't know about something, and so you're in conflict because you're not vibrating at a strong level, condition of existence. You understand? You're not at the very top. You're not having no great power. You understand? And so to resolve the conflict, you automatically have to know to find out what this third party is and eliminate it. And that's how you resolve the conflict. But obviously now you have to employ investigation skills to find out this third party. And as I said, it could be a person or a thing, and or an idea, if you understand. And so it demands communication. Now, if the only people you can investigate with is the person that you have in conflict with, then you're gonna have a problem. But if you can investigate the environment around, or even people, or even the people in the environment, you have to communicate with them. So you have to raise their affinity, get their attention, raise their affinity. If they don't want to talk about that, then you can't communicate. Communication can't be successful. And so you're thwarted in your efforts to resolve the conflict. But you have to persevere, because you need resolution in conflicts. Our agenda at the AKF is peace, and that means it's an elimination or a minimalization of conflicts that will escalate into outblown war. You know, like what is threatening to happen now in Ukraine, where Russia is amassing troops along the Ukraine, their border with Ukraine. And President Joe Biden of the US is saying Americans must get out of Ukraine, because if tensions escalate, he won't be sending any soldiers to get them out. So that signals that you know, we're on dangerous ground. But those conflicts need to be resolved by diplomatic means in the first instance, because armed response is never yet good. It never ends well. You understand? And the world is in a very precarious position now. We don't want a conflict of a magnitude, of a global magnitude. And to give you another little dimension to conflict and resolution, music is based upon that thing. So like we Jamaicans, we love the bass line. And like the bass player, he will play a phrase, they call it. So a particular sound, a group of notes. And the first set of notes, I think you could call that the conflict. Then the second set of notes, that resolves the conflict. So the first phrase makes a statement, and the second phrase responds. But working together, it's a conflict and then a resolution. Because you know, you feel good, like something's kind of complete when you hear the second section. Yeah. So that's conflict and resolution. Check it. But yeah, it's a small bite size, as I said. Conflict resolution. Every conflict as a third party could be a person or a thing. And your emotional tone scale, your communication skills, the components of understanding, investigation, public relations, all of these things come into play when you're trying to resolve a conflict. So I'm Abba, And as I said, representing the African Kingdoms Federation, this is just a little bite size on conflict and resolution. I hope you do look into the rest of the course and find out the rest of the information, and so that you can become knowledgeable in the life skills, and your desire to aid humanity in its progress, fix the ills that we're facing, will allow you to say, hold up here, and I'm ready to be a task force officer in the African Kingdoms Federation. Blessed love.